Hi everyone, it's Brittany, your friendly plant-loving internet stranger, and I'm back with another video. So it has been a minute since I have filmed a sit-down chatty video. I have posted quite a few shorts over the last month and a half or so, and I have been having fun with those. They're really easy to get up and to post and to edit. But I'm ready to get back into the longer form videos, and I have a ton of plant chores. I have some struggle plants that need tending to. Since fall is finally here, I've decided to finally bring in my plants from outside. Unfortunately, I only had 2 plants outside that I really want to bring in. It's unseasonably warm this weekend when I'm filming, but it has dropped below 50 degrees at some points, and so these plants look like they've been out in the cold, so I am going to repot them to make sure they don't have any creepy crawlers in the soil. So I'm going to clean them up, clean the roots off, wash the leaves down really well, and then change the soil. So I will probably end up putting the plant under a grow light and just letting it do its thing while it transitions from being an outdoor plant to an indoor plant for the season. I think the rule of thumb is that once the temperature outside drops below 50 degrees Fahrenheit, you want to start bringing your plants in and preparing them for the winter if they are indoor plants that you have had outside for the summer. I am a bit late in bringing these plants in from outside, but that's fine. We have been having some unseasonably warm weather, so I've decided to risk it and leave the plants out longer than they probably should have been, and it actually shows on their leaves. So the plants that I'm going to be repotting today are 2 Alocasias. I believe these are the black velvet Alocasia. They're both looking a little ugly right now. One of them was starting to flower. It just looks like it was cold. These are the handy dandy food prep gloves that I use sometimes for plant related things. I'm using these today because I'm going to be handling soil that's been outside, and I'm anticipating that there will be some creepy crawlers in it, roly-polies and things like that, maybe some spiders. I don't know what I'm gonna find when I dump the soil out, but I like to wear these if I'm really going to be handling soil that might have something in it. And also if I have a fresh manicure, which I don't now. I'm usually going to wear gloves if I have a fresh manicure because I don't want to waste my money, and I also need to make sure I'm tending to the plants. I do have a pair of reusable gloves that I like to use for my indoor plants, but again, because I'm bringing these in from outside, I just want to make sure I'm not cross-contaminating anything from the outdoor plants to the indoor plants. So I'm just going to use these today and get these plants all cleaned up. So these are the 2 plants that I am going to be repotting. These are both covered in spider webs, number 1, especially this one. It looks really scary. So the plants that I'm going to be repotting is this Alocasia here. And these leaves are a little bit washed out right now by the sun, but they are as crispy as they look on camera in real life. And I truly do believe that is because I left them outside too long, and they're cold, or you know, they got cold. And then this one looks a little bit better. This leaf looks way more intact. So this is what the plant is actually supposed to look like. Both of these plants are the same. So again, this one seems to be in better shape than the other one, but I'm still going to wash it off after I've dumped the soil because I do see some spider webs. And these are not like spider mites, given how big the webs are. These are just good old outside spiders. I don't know what kind of spiders. Those Charlotte's webs are all over these. So I'm gonna get this soil dumped out and replant both of these into the same pot, just in case I do need to cut down some of the leaves. I want to consolidate as many plants as I can, so I will probably plant all of these together in one pot. I do have a starter nursery pot that I'm going to be reusing to repot these. So again, like, this is the good leaf on this plant. This is what the plant should look like. And this is also the same plant, just a little bit washed out. You can kind of see some of the pattern and color on like this leaf right here, but then you can also see like how it was about to flower, or maybe it did, I don't really know. I've been traveling quite a bit, so I didn't even really get to see this plant in its full glory. In order to get these plants ready to go, My sink is already cleaned out. I am going to, I'm starting to itch now because I see something crawling on one of the plants. And yeah, so let's hurry up and do this. I have double bagged these little grocery produce bags, and I'm just gonna put the whole pot into this bag, pull the plant out, and just roll the plant around so that I loosen the soil and get all of the excess soil off, and then put it in the sink, wash it real good with some Dr. Bronner's unscented soap, like on the leaves. I'm going to make sure not to get any of that on the roots, and then once I get it washed off and dried off. So once I get it all potted up, I'm going to spray it down with some neem oil and put it in the window for a couple of days, or I might transition it under a grow light. We'll see. So I was able to remove this plant from its pot, and the roots seem to be in really good shape. And I just got as much soil off of the roots and the bulb without breaking them. And I'm just going to set this to the side while I pull the other plant out of its pot. So I think part of the reason why this plant looked the way it looked too was just that I had not been watering it regularly. I think it's been a minute since it's been watered. And this one sits on the porch, which is covered, as the other one is not on the porch or covered. So it just gets more rainwater. And this one gets water when I water it. So because this plant was drier, it was a little bit harder to remove the soil. I can't really tell if all of this is just the roots or if it's also hay or something that was used as the growing medium, because I don't think all of these little strands are the roots. And the roots are very dry. I'm probably going to stop here as far as like cleaning them off, just with breaking up the large chunks of soil. And I will let the stream of the water, once I wash these plants off, do the rest of the work for me. The roots do not have to be like sparkling clean. I don't need them to be white or anything. I really am just trying to get rid of any pests that might be on the plant. And then make sure I'm focusing a lot of attention on these leaves because they look pretty nasty. And as I was getting the soil off of the roots, I was actually going through to rub my hand across the leaves as well and across the bulbs of the flowers to make sure that I break the spider webs up, which I'm also gonna, just wash once I put this in the sink. The main thing I'm really doing at this point is just making sure that I get any large pieces of wood, they're like wood chips tangled up in here, so that that is not going down the drain. But I am trying to be pretty gentle because this has little tubers. I don't know if these are called tubers. I think that's what these are called. A couple of them hanging on. So I think that, if I leave those intact, entirely new plants will grow from them. So I want to make sure that I leave those intact. So that's that. I'm going to go ahead and wash these off now, and then I'll be back once I'm ready to repot. We are back and I have the plants all washed up here. I just have them wrapped in a piece of paper towel so that it didn't drip all over the table and everything. But I'm gonna go ahead and get these potted up. And as you can see, the roots are pretty clean. I wasn't going for like completely white or beige roots here. They didn't need to be that clean, but the main thing was to make sure to get the pests off of them. So this one was pretty good. Surprisingly, I thought this one would have the most creepy crawlers just because it wasn't covered where it was outside. It was just kind of just sitting on the ground. So usually when I have plants just sitting on the ground, I have more pests in them, or I don't even call them pests, but roly-polies and just like outside bugs will crawl into the planter. So this one actually looks pretty good. And I didn't have to do a ton of like cleaning of the leaves. This one I had to do a little bit more, and I had to like really scrub under the leaves because I could see either like squashed up spiders or something, or some type of something under the leaves, and I wanted to really make sure to scrub those. I'm probably going to let these leaves die off. I don't think I'm going to clip them, or maybe I'll clip some of them. I'll probably clip the flowers because I'm assuming that this is like with most plants, if you have a lot of flowers producing on the plant, it will take away from the energy. The plant uses all of its energy to like make sure the flowers grow and bloom. But if you cut them, it starts to put its energy back into the leaves and then actually putting out new leaves. So I'm probably going to cut these off because I don't need them and they are looking a little ugly. I found another pot. I think I'm going to use this one instead. This one is 6-inch. I think this is 6-inch, yeah. And I want the plants to be root bound, so that's why I'm going to use this one instead of the other one. I just think it's going to be too big. So I'm going to go ahead. Let me just make sure it'll be a comfortable fit for both of these plants. Yeah, I think that will be good because again, I don't want there to be too much space in the pot where it could potentially cause root rot or the plant doesn't have sufficient space to like drain properly. I am going to fill this pot up about 1/3 of the way with soil and then get the plants in there and fill it up the rest of the way. And the soil that I'm using is just a mix of, I think this is like indoor potting soil, reptile bark, which is basically just wood chips. I really like putting wood chips in my potting mix for drainage. And it also has a little bit of peat moss and some perlite. I think I put a little bit too much soil in there starting out, but it's okay. We're gonna make it work. I got all the roots comfortably tucked in there. And so hopefully this plant takes well to this repotting and it will begin to establish itself in this pot in the next few weeks. And I'm just going to top off the plant with more soil so that the roots are fully covered and so that the plant is stabilized in the pot. I used to put a lot more of my tropical plants outside during the summer, but as I started to scale down with plants, I stopped putting as many of them outside. It does take a little bit of prep work bringing them back in, and you don't always have to repot your plants. I just prefer to repot my plants because I really don't want to bring in any bugs from outside that are, you know, living in the plants. So I have this plant all potted up, and the pot looks a little ashy because I did just rinse it off. So this is the Alocasia Black Velvet that was brought in from outside I just put those 2 plants that you saw together in this one pot. I brought it down a pot size so that it can be root bound, and hopefully that will cause it to push out more leaves. I think I'm going to actually clip some of these nasties off. So before I call this video to an end, I am going to clip off these flowers or whatever flower looking thing this is, because they look really nasty, and I kind of want to open them up to see if it's a seed or something inside of it, or it could just be something scary that's going to creep me out. All right, it's got something inside of it. It doesn't look scary. It just looks like a bunch of little thingamajiggers, let's call it that. I don't know if these are seeds. I'm gonna have to Google and figure out if these are like seed pods or something. Maybe they are, but they're not dried out yet. Yeah, I think these could be seeds. So I'm actually not going to cut the rest of these off. I'm going to let them dry up. I have no idea if this is the best way to propagate an alocasia, but I like to experiment, you know, so I'm going to let these dry out instead of just clipping them off. And what I'm going to do is just cut off some of the super raggedy looking leaves to encourage the plant to start growing new leaves. We're going to see what happens. This is what she's looking like now. I left a really pretty leaf here just because she doesn't deserve to be cut off. So let's say we do a post-Thanksgiving check with this one and see if it survives. Let's see how it does. Yeah, we'll check back in with this plant in about a month. Hopefully she will be doing well and we'll have produced some more plants. Hopefully by that time the seed pods would have also dried up, and if that happens, I will definitely do another video talking about what I can do with them, or maybe I'll plant them and see what actually does happen. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I have a lot more content coming up for you. Another fun struggle plant series is on the way, as well as some fun repottings. So if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to give this video a like and subscribe if you want more plant content. Thanks again for watching.